Hello, you guys. Welcome to the Ranting Shop with me, Melissa. Today we will be reviewing Ready to Love Season 6, Episode 8 or 9. I'm not quite sure, but let's talk about it. Alright, so in this particular episode, the men had to introduce their friends to their potential person. And first we had Paul, and Paul mentions Tina being very evasive, very not very interested. And later we'll get to understand why Tina is having her issues with the process or whatever it may be. And I said, since when does Dakia and Paul have a connection? Because he chose to meet up with Dakia and Carmen. Now, I know that him and Carmen have gone out on dates before, but I've never seen him and Dakia really interact. And the vibe that I get from Dakia is one of, she's not interested in Paul. So for me, seeing all this fakery, it just kind of annoyed me with their date and so on. But anyway, so the Kia comes in first, which she answers all the questions very well. The interaction with the best friend is good. Like, Carmen comes in, surprised to see the Kia there. Again, there's this competitive thing with Carmen, and I feel like people can be competitive. That's all well and good, but I feel like certain things you don't need to be competitive about, like a man. Like competing for a man, to me, that is tactless and that is a little bit disgraceful, a bit pathetic to me. And I just don't see that there's a need to do all that. Because at the end of the day, if a man wants you, he wants you. There's no need to compete for a man. Because there's no way you can compete for a man, to me. If a man wants you, he wants you. So what Carmen is doing is just completely ridiculous to me. And she did all that. And there's clearly tension between Dakia and Carmen. Dakia kind of made shots about Carmen and her blue contact lenses and the fact that Cliff was like making fun of her for it. But clearly she's comfortable with her blue contact lenses, so to me that's petty. Anyways, the women definitely have this competitive thing about them. Maybe for the Kia, it's not as overt as for Carmen, but they're both competitive. They both see each other as competition. They were both fighting for Eric the other day. Now they're fighting for Paul. I definitely feel like Carmen is not so interested in Paul. I agree with the Kia that Carmen is just wanting to stick to anybody or grab anybody she can get, but I don't see or think Carmen's connection is anywhere on the show. According to Paul, Carmen is superficial with a little bit of substance, whereas the Kia seems to be the total package for him. The friend mentioned the fact that Carmen seems like somebody that wants to control a man, and that might be true, who knows. According to Carmen, it's not that she controls. Her job requires her to be in a leadership position. However, when she goes home, she definitely wants to be catered to and be feminine and whatever these women say these days. So, but I just don't see the chemistry for her and Paul. I don't see the chemistry for anybody there. But we'll leave that for another conversation. So we have Tori and Ash. So Tori wanted to introduce his friend Ash to Sabrina and Ace. For me, I feel as if Tori is just dragging this Sabrina thing. Either he's doing it or the show is doing it. But it's very clear at this point that Sabrina and Tori don't really have a relationship to really speak on, to really meet friends over. Like, to me, it's just beating a dead horse at this point. So Sabrina comes in, gives Tori a gift, and Tori feels like because she gives him a gift, it's giving him mixed signals. To me, I was confused about that, because at the end of the day, me giving you a gift doesn't necessarily mean anything. Me giving you a gift could just be that I'm trying to be nice. Like, you invited me on a date, I'm being nice. That doesn't mean that I want anything with you. It doesn't mean that I necessarily see us together. It doesn't mean anything. I think the reason why Tori is seeing it as mixed signals is because he wants to see it as mixed signals. It's because he wants to see it as she's still trying to pursue something. But to me, Sabrina is very much and has very much been clear that she's not interested in Tori anymore. And people keep saying, oh, Sabrina is being indecisive. Sabrina is not being indecisive. Sabrina has been very clear that she is not interested in Tori. At least after that whole kiss thing with Demetrius, it's been very clear to anyone that watches the show that she's not interested in Tori. So I don't get where people are coming from with saying she's indecisive. Indecisive about what? Indecisive about what? It's obvious that Demetrius is her top and only pick. So I don't know where people are coming from with that. I just feel like people are trying to see things from Tori's perspective, and that's why they're reacting like that. But if you see things from an outside perspective, you realize that Sabrina is not being indecisive. She's just not into Tori. That's just what it is. Anyways, so Ace did not make an appearance, and Tori called Ace in the middle of the date with Sabrina, and she was very vocal about that. She was throwing shots. She was making what do you call that? What do you call these comments? She was making like a little bit of snide comments, a little bit of sarcastic comments about the whole thing. Sabrina was not a fan of him doing that. I understood if he needed to call her, he could have gotten up from his seat, excused himself, and called her. He didn't have to do it at the table, just very abruptly like that. So that just shows me that Tori is a little bit childish, and he's very immature, and he has a lot of growing up to do, like the way I see it. Now, according to Sabrina, she doesn't want to rush into any relationship, and the way Tori takes it is that she's just very indecisive, but she's not. Ace was MIA with no explanation, but to me there's no connection there. So why is it so important that Ace show up, or why was it so important that Ace show up? My analysis of it is that it's not necessarily that he saw more with Ace. It's just that he needed another person there to either make Sabrina jealous or to make Sabrina aware that he has other connections beside her. I just think that's what it was. Because I think Tori knows him and Ace's connection is nothing. It's just a friendship. He knows that. But that was a poor and failed attempt on his part of making Sabrina jealous. Okay? Now, that's his second failed attempt. Sabrina doesn't care. Like, the thing about it is, you cannot make somebody jealous that doesn't care in the first place. For the jealous things to work, she has to care about you. She has to want to be with you. If she doesn't want to be with you or doesn't care about you, it doesn't work. Okay? That's what he has to learn. Anyways, Demetrius and friend meet. The choice was just Sabrina. You notice he didn't invite Tina. You notice it was just Sabrina he invited. So all that mess he was talking about, oh, he sees red flags in Tina, that's some BS. He was never interested in Tina. His focus was always on Sabrina and only Sabrina. So Demetrius and his friend meet Sabrina. Notice how she says she doesn't want to jump into marriage. with Demetrius. She didn't say she doesn't want to jump into a relationship with him. She said she doesn't want to jump into marriage with him. But with Tori, she said she just doesn't want to jump or rush into a relationship. So that clearly tells us, the viewers, that she is not into Tori. So for people to say she's indecisive, where are you guys getting that from? Where? Unless you're choosing to see things from Tori's perspective, and Tori is just all emotion and no logic. So anyways, Sabrina asked the friend a question about what type of woman Demetrius likes. The friend says submissive women. Sabrina is not a submissive woman. So for her, she has to now go back and reevaluate. Beyond the attraction to Demetrius, will this relationship work? The answer is no, it will not. No, it will not. You know, that submissive thing, I know people want to say, oh, that submissive word is a trigger word, and it doesn't mean being a servant, it doesn't mean being less than, it doesn't mean being whatever. But I feel like for Demetrius, it is being a servant. And it is being unequal. I think he wants to be the head. He wants to be the leader. He wants to be the ruler. He wants to be the top of the family chain. And Sabrina will come in second. That's how I think his view of submissive is. People are saying, oh, the word submissive doesn't mean that. Okay, fair. The word submissive doesn't have to mean that. But what does it mean to him? And that's something we never got to really learn, what that word means to Demetrius. Because everybody is talking about the word in general, but nobody asked Demetrius what that meant to him. And that would really create all the difference between whether the dynamic will work with him and Sabrina or not. And we didn't get that little bit of information. Okay, so anyways, let's move on. Cliff and friend. Now, Cliff was meeting Dakia and Joy. Notice he never met with Carmen. So my thing about it is, what has come of him and Carmen's relationship? What has come of it? You know? But anyways, Dakia feeds Cliff. And notice how Joy and Dakia came in at the same time. And because Cliff fed her oysters, she decided to feed him whatever was in her clam plate, whatever the case is. And I feel like both of the women were clearly in competition mode, especially Dakia. Joy mentioned liking Cliff's authenticity from day one. She knows that he's raw. She knows that he's real. She knows that he doesn't mince his words, and she likes that about him. But I don't know if Dakia can handle that, because he asked Joy if she could handle it. And clearly Joy can, because Joy is like literally the same. But can Dakia handle it? He never asked Dakia. So everybody knows Joy is a better fit for Cliff. And I'm pretty sure Dakia got to really see and understand that for herself. She saw it, she understood it, but she still feels like Joy is way more into Cliff than Cliff is into Joy. I actually don't agree, and I feel like they are equally into each other. But if Dakia needs to say that to make herself feel like she has a chance with Cliff, all power to Dakia. She can say whatever she feels like. However, the honest truth is, she has no chance, you know. And as much as Cliff is like, oh, I want my options to be open, cut the BS, Paul. Cliff, you're just doing the show at this point. You're just playing a game at this point. You know for a fact that Dakia has no chance. Anyways, the friend thinks Joy is a better fit. No surprise to any of us. We all think the same. Anyway, Donovan and Phil. So Phil is Donovan's good friend. Phil meets with Tina and Sabrina. Now, you notice how Tina didn't go and meet with Paul. but she met with Donovan. That should tell us all what we need to know about the relationship or the connection that Paul and Tina have. It seems to have been something that has fizzled out for whatever reason, but it has. Now, Tina's whole vibe on this date seemed very like she didn't want any parts of it. She wasn't too interested in it. She didn't really want to be there. And it was very clear. The process is wearing on her. It's affecting her mentally. She needs her space. And I said she seems tired and through with this process. Sabrina doesn't think that Donovan has dealt with all his issues yet. Later on we'll find out that he left a relationship just a couple months ago, and I do not believe that somebody that has left a relationship a couple months ago is really in a headspace to really delve into another relationship. That's my opinion. But according to the date that Sabrina had with Tori, she's in the same boat. She's in the same boat of just recently leaving a relationship. So it's just very ironic of her to critique Donovan and his readiness for a relationship when people are critiquing her and her readiness for a relationship too. Because her and Donovan are in the same situation. Now, the thing about it is, it's so easy for people to critique other people that's in their same situation. Because they don't see themselves, they don't look at themselves, they don't analyze themselves, they don't see themselves in an objective way. So of course it would be easy for her to do, but she's in the same boat as he is. So the same way she doesn't think he's dealt with his issues, people don't think she's dealt with her issues. Okay, now the thing that confused me about Donovan is he mentioned that he is concerned that Sabrina wants kids. It's like he contradicted himself. It's like it concerns him, but he doesn't mind it. And also he said the same thing for Tina. Tina has a 2-year-old. It concerns him, but he doesn't mind it. So the thing about it is, if you don't mind it, why does it concern you? What it seems like to me is, it's because it concerns him, he brought it up. And it's a big deal for him. That's why he brought it up. But he's making it seem as if, oh, he's not concerned, or it doesn't bother him. But you brought it up because it bothered you. And because it will be a big deal for you to get through. You know what I mean? As far as the two, of course, Sabrina in that scenario is a better fit for him because she was just more open. Her temperament was better. And she just seemed like she was just more positive, you know. I definitely feel that production is definitely giving Sabrina a very good edit because she's gonna make it to the end. Who knows with whom? Maybe it's Demetrius, but she definitely is getting a good edit. But anyways, Paul and Dakia, they go on a date because Paul wants to explore his relationship with Dakia. Because to be honest with you, they don't have any relationship. They've never been on any dates. And so Dakia is like really foreign to him. And he's really foreign to Dakia. They go out on a date. I see zero chemistry. I see 0 point. And the funny and ironic thing about it is, Dakia thinks that Paul is this one-dimensional person, but people think the same of Dakia. People see Dakia as this one-dimensional person too. So they have both of that in common, to be honest with you. And you'd think that they'd connect on that, but they don't. She doesn't want him. He is hopeful that she will want him, but she doesn't want him. And there's really nothing more to really dissect about their connection other than it's just not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. And you see this, I don't know. Ever since Eric left, to me, Dakia has no connection there. And she's just pushing it. And she knows that. And she should leave too. So Ace and Tori meet. She apologizes for not going to see his friend. But what I appreciate about Ace is she wasn't willing to fake the funk. She knew that the relationship she had with Tori was purely on a friendship level. What does she look like meeting his friend knowing they're just friends? It made no sense, and that's when I believe that it was less about a connection and more about Tori wanting to make Sabrina jealous. And he failed because Ace didn't show up. Ace wasn't about to fake anything with Tori, not to further his self-interest. She knows that between her and Sabrina, he is more into Sabrina. He sees the way she looks at Sabrina. He looks at Sabrina. She sees the way he interacts with Sabrina. She knows her connection with him is not on that level. So why fake it? And I love people that are authentic in that way. I really appreciate Dakia for doing that. Ace for doing that. Like, she's not about that fake stuff. Her connection was with Laverne. Laverne left. She has no other connection. Why fake it? She left. Now, typically, there would be another conversation had with her and Tommy, but it seemed like Tommy was not told of that situation. She just said it to Mr. What's his name? To Mr. Tori, and she left. And that was that. Laverne was her person. Or she had more of a sexual connection with Laverne than she does with Tori. She doesn't see it romantically with Tori. She left. The men convene at the lounge. They tell us all about their connection, what their friends thought. I don't want to really get into that again because we know and saw what the friends thought. The friends, P.O.'s friend felt like the Kia was a better fit for him. And P.O. was a bit, Paul and the Kia go together, and P.O. and Cameron go together. And I like that Mr. Tommy was like, okay, so now you have to decide who fits both of you. And that's a good point. Then we have Demetrius. Of course, the friend thought Sabrina was a good pick for him. What he said at the lounge versus what the friend said in the actual date were different. Because the friend was like, I don't know about, the girl doesn't know about that submissive thing. But then he's like, oh, the friend thought everything was good and we're good together. Okay, I guess. What else did we learn? Cliff, of course, Joy. The friend thought Joy was a better fit. Tori. Of course, the friend didn't really get to compare Sabrina to anyone. So, of course, he has no choice but to say Sabrina. But he definitely saw that there was some hesitancy with her. And that just means she's not interested in him. And that's just what it is. What else? I think these are all the men. There's only 4 men. Cliff, Paul, Donovan, Demetrius. There's only 4 men. So, yeah. Tori. 5 men, sorry. Yeah, you guys, so let me know what you think about this particular episode. Do you feel like Ace should have self-eliminated? Do you think that anybody was there for Ace? In my opinion, nobody was there for Ace. She was right to self-eliminate. Tori should self-eliminate next because there's nobody there for him either. Tina is struggling with the process. I feel like she's over it at this point. She wants nothing to do with any of these men at this point. So, she should be the next woman going home. But as for the next man going home, it should be Tori. There's literally, like, no connection there with anybody else. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Like, subscribe, and see you guys next time for another review from the Ranting Shop with me, Melissa. Bye!